Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. Very slow on news today, unless you count Steven S. DeKnight, who is the director of Pacific Uprising, Rim Uprising. Someone asked him if he were to direct a movie, would he do Superman? Kind of paraphrasing here, but he said up, up, and away. So he's like saying that he would love to direct The Man of Steel 2, or he is thinking about it. But then, you know what? He's just answering questions on Twitter, okay? And so he actually said that after that came out and there was like news about it, he's like, wow, well, I'd rather see, Zack Snyder come back to do Man of Steel 2. Oh, he wouldn't mind seeing Zack Snyder come back to Man of Steel 2. Then the news outlets ran with that bit of news, and he's like, wow, it must be a slow news day. And he jokingly said that maybe maybe I'll be in for a Boba Fett movie. Let's see what happens there. So I don't know if they'll run with that, but they're literally just taking whatever he said and putting out on a news, and that's actually really funny and quite humorous today. Another thing is this not really humorous is I was going through Twitter whenever I get a chance because I've got three kids to deal with, but I saw this picture here. Yeah, that poster, which is of course edited from Sucker Punch to Rape Fantasy, and it says a movie so tone deaf only a man could make. And that was actually created by, or it was a counterpoint or something, a Twitter from a person named Ashley Lynch. I don't know who that person is. And as I was reading through, a lot of people were defending Sucker Punch, defending Zack Snyder, and she kept attacking Zack Snyder, going as far as saying he puts out rape scenes in almost all of his movies, which is not really true. Watchmen had one implied. And 300 also had it, and of course, Sucker Punch because it has to deal with those issues. And when seeing this picture and seeing the things that this person has said, and the people who defended what she said, and for the people who were defending Zack Snyder, I'm just looking back and forth whenever I could, and I just really say, if you believe that this movie is a rape fantasy, my opinion, you're misinformed. My opinion is you're looking at only on the surface level. If you look deeper down in this film, in fact, it's not too deep. I mean, it's really shown in the movie. Is that the way these women, these girls, are in this place? They are coping with what they're going through by making it a little bit more, I'd say exciting, but adventurous, just so to cope through the hardships they have to go through. Um, there is no enjoyment for the sexual abuse in this movie. They actually use that and makes them stronger. They actually fight it. They actually fight the men in these fantasies because that's what they're coping with the harsh realities of this. It's been a long time since I watched it. I think it's a mental hospital, so they kind of believe it to be like a brothel because they believe this lady is, gathering them around like a brothel because she's using them to be, sexual dolls for this man who runs this mental institution, and so in order to cope with what they had to go through every day, they had to make believe in their mind, at least Baby Doll was, that this is what's going on, to cope with what they have to go through. And that's the whole thing about it. That's what I got from it, from watching it, Sucker Punch, which I do enjoy. I do enjoy that movie because it's like a video game. Some of the fantasy scenes are really cool. The action scenes really cool. But within the deeper meaning, which is not really deeper because you actually see it on the surface level, is that's what's happening there. And I've gone through some of that when I was younger. When I was younger, going through cross country, in order to make me run faster at cross country, I would make believe there's something chasing me, or make believe this is like an action. Hollywood action chase scene, and I would actually have, soundtracks pumping in my brain. I've put on tracks in my Walkman, Walkman, of action movies, and it would make me run faster to get in the mood. And so totally understand this type of movie on that level. So for people who don't see it that way and see it as Zack Snyder trying to promote rape and sexual abuse, I don't understand that. That doesn't actually compute with me. I do not see it that way, and it's unfortunate that you do. Also, saying that the way these women are dressed are hypersexualized and things like that. I know a lot of women, even my own wife, who want to look prettier, who want to be sexier. They want to do that. They want to actually be able to dress in a certain way that they want and feel empowered, feel that they don't have to hide their bodies. Why do men get to go out there shirtless? Why do men get to wear revealing clothing and feel empowered and feel strong, feel very, good about themselves? And why can't women do in a way the same? Because they can be just as strong. And I think if you have a problem with seeing these strong girls, I mean, they are strong. They're going through sexual abuse, going through this mental hospital, going through abuse and all this, trying to cope with it in their incredible, awesome action-esque fantasy, but actually going through that, making them stronger, making feeling more empowered. I think that makes them much stronger than you think they are. And if you feel them that being weak and being a entices people to be or sexualizing them in a way, then I think that's your problem. I think that's just your issue in your own head, and we can't help with that. But that's my thoughts on that matter, and it just really bothered me that this person would do that, would actually attack a director at that level, without actually even understanding more than the surface level, even though it's not that hard to understand this movie. So I just want to go over that. But this is more of an editorial video anyway, so let's go on from here. I want to go back to what I wanted to talk about before, and I really didn't have time, but I have some time here. And that was that video that I made. It was called "When Will Superman Return? Captain Marvel is Green." So on the third topic that I didn't actually really quite mention, but I said I wanted to mention because I've had some quite a bit of discussion between my friends about it, and I wanted to see what you guys thought about it, and that is that the Superman Action Comics 1000 will have Superman's red trunks returned on the Man of Steel. Now, that's in comic form, and I don't know if it's just for that issue, because there are some stories in there that Joe Shuster and Jerry Siegel had done that was never ever published, so it could be just that issue, and they won't ever do it again. But for the time being, people are saying, including my friends, who are very adamant that this is the time. The red trunks are back. The red trunks that were those strongman circus people back in the day, and has been part of Superman for a very long time. Until recently, when Jim Lee decided to take it off and doesn't, like, who wears underwear on the outside anymore, right? So, but in this case, red trunks is not underwear, as some people are defending it. So I wanted to see what you guys thought of it. So I think I'm going to look at some of these comments here. As there has been a lot of comments lately on this and on my other videos, I apologize if I have not gone through them. There is so much. So one person already says One Shot Perot. It says no red trunks, no. What is it? Viewer question from one Snyder fan to another in perfect world. What would you like to see him do next? Masters of the Universe, Thundercats, Voltron, something grounded like the Shadow. Thanks, enjoy your passion for you. Oh, well, that's not. I would do Masters of the Universe, Thundercats. I'm going to respond to that right now. Masters of the Universe and Thundercats. Yes. Someone here says the real Crunchy Tacos 1234 replied, I'm okay with the red trunks if they decide to go with it, but I don't want it to look all bright like the Richard Donner Superman. Okay, so that is interesting. So red trunks in, but not look that bright as Richard Donner Superman, which maybe probably more along the line of Man of Steel color. Maybe the color of his cape or symbol, but over down here. from Paul P. I can't imagine them trying to bring back the Red Trunks in a live action movie, but given the direction they've taken lately, nothing would surprise me. Yeah. That's the thing. So it's not surprising what they're doing right now, especially after Justice League and how they changed Man of Steel, changed Henry Cavill's Superman into more like Christopher Reeve Superman. But that is only within his character, right? Would they actually do that? Actually physically change his look? Even after seeing him without the red trunks, why would he put the red trunks later? That would be so odd. That would be so out of place and weird. I could see it happening almost in a way like Captain America, Winter Soldier, where he went back to the original costume towards the end of the film. But the original costume was already in the universe. So in this case, the red trunks was never part of this universe. So why would they add that in? Or they would just do it and not explain a thing and just run with it, just like that. That's it. That's literally what's gonna happen. No red trunks, please, from Vishal Maravi. No red trunks for Batman. Someone replied to him and says, "No red trunks. How about just black trunks for bats?" Chicken permission, the storm drained. Superman wouldn't appear in red trunks. It would look silly. Not even Marvel does that. I agree. Not even Marvel does that, sure. So most of your majority says no red trunks, although one of you said that you wouldn't mind the red trunks as long as not as bright as Richard Donner Superman. So this is what my take on it is, my own personal take on it. And then my friends are all like red trunks in, because this is what they see in comics before. They don't like what Jim Lee did. So and to their point, red trunks, it actually balances out between that all blue. It breaks it up a little bit between that all blue on him. And yeah, I mean, there's, I guess something is kind of missing, but not really. There's that little blue, yellow belt kind of thing going on. But in any case, for me, I wouldn't be too harsh or critical about if the red trunks did come back in some sort of way. I wouldn't be mad if it wasn't red trunks. So this is my thing, is that if he is still blue and if he still has a red cape, and if he generally, when you look at him you can look at him and say, yeah, that's Superman, then I'm okay with it. And I'm okay. He has the character of Superman. But this is the thing that would bother me the most, is that they make him less of Man of Steel and more of Richard Donner. Because Richard Donner's Superman, Christopher Reeve, barely had any punches, right? Barely fought anybody. And we did that Superman 2, the cut where he actually hit one of the bad guys into the thing, but it wasn't in the original, right? So I would want him to still have the capacity to fight like in Man of Steel, like in Batman v Superman, and the better parts of Justice League. But I would want him to be able to still fight like that, and in a compromise in a way. So I don't want them to ever change that, to change his fighting pattern, because that was the one thing that I really truly love about Man of Steel. Because all we've seen so far before that was Richard Donner's Christopher Reeve Superman. He had fought Nuclear Man, yeah, sure, in a weird slow motion floppy way. But for me, like, I was watching the animated Superman and all this, and they're doing like Dragon Ball stuff. I'm like, wouldn't it be cool to see Superman do some Dragon Ball moves in a movie? I mean, I think the effects, we can do it now. I wanted to see, how Neo fought Agent Smith in the Matrix movies. I wanted to see that in a Superman film, right? Because before that, before Man of Steel, we were getting Smallville, and all he does was pushing people, and I was like, when is he gonna fight, like actual fight? So I was super happy. And I remember seeing that one clip of Superman hitting General Zod through that smoky tower in Smallville and says, "You do not, mess with my mom." It's kind of that part, and I was like, "Whoa, whoa!" He's fighting. He's actually fighting, like fighting. Dragon Ball fighting is, they causing mass destruction, of course, but collateral damage in a way because he wasn't not sure of himself. But it was phenomenal, and I don't want them to ever take that away. I don't want them to be picking up stiff and throwing things on the side or just letting them hit him. I don't want that. I don't want to get back to Superman Returns type, less action and more drama, character drama. I don't want that. So whether there's red trunks or not, I don't care. I just want that Superman to be the powerful, the fighter Superman that we've seen in Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and some of the parts of Justice League. I still want that aspect of it. So that's my take on that for that. So great to see a lot of people comment about that. Thank you so much for commenting on my videos. I really like to see the different opinions and different views on stuff, and I would love to see more. So anyway, that is it. What did you guys think about Ashley Lynch on Sucker Punch? Did you even like the movie yourself? Let me know if I'm not the only one who actually enjoys that movie. And also, Superman Red Trunks. Let's still have a conversation because I don't see them putting the red trunks back in because that would be so weird. But because Superman may not appear until 2019, hopefully in Shazam or in his own movie, whether that be Matthew Vaughn or somebody else, it's not out of the realm of impossibility that they would try to put the red trunks back on, make him actually change his costume to something else. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? All right, guys. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.